Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Unnamed Podcast, and of course I am your host Akash aka Evil Monkey. और द अननेम्ड पॉडकास्ट में मैं बात करता हूँ कुछ ऐसी अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटीज के साथ जो अपनी लाइफ में तो चेंजेस ला ही रहे हैं, साथ ही साथ अपने काम से सोसाइटी में भी चेंजेस ला रहे हैं. एंड इन केस अगर आप एक ऐसी अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटी हैं या फिर आप किसी ऐसी अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटी को जानते हैं, सो वेल एंड यू थिंक कि वो मेरे पॉडकास्ट पे फीचर होने चाहिए, देन व्हाट आर यू वेटिंग फॉर? ड्रॉप मी एन ईमेल ऑन evilmonkeyden@gmail.com और विल स्टार्ट रोलिंग. तो अगर बात करें हम आज के गेस्ट की, सो वेल ही इज एन अमेरिकन फिक्शन राइटर. थोड़े दूर के गेस्ट हैं आज, थोड़ा हमें 7 समुद्र पार जाना पड़ा. और वेल ही हैज रिटन 4 इंटरेस्टिंग फिक्शन नॉवेल्स. और इनका जो लेटेस्ट फिक्शन नॉवल है इट इज कॉल्ड द पोर्टल एंड द प्रॉमिस. इट इज अबाउट द प्रोटैगनिस्ट जो कि वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 से वापस आता है और फिर उसके साथ बहुत अमेजिंग एडवेंचर्स होते हैं. ही गेट्स सक्ड इनटू अ टाइम होल और then he fights aliens and get back to his own world. Interesting, isn't it? मेरे आज के जो गेस्ट हैं उनका नाम है मिस्टर M.H.Fox. And well, अपनी राइटिंग जॉब से पहले he was doing some little bit of more clerical work. So an interesting twist of events, if I must say. तो चलिए जानते हैं M.H.Fox से how he came across this portal and the promise and about his amazing life into the world of fiction writing. Hello, Mr. Fox. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm good. You don't need to call me sir. It's okay. You can call me by my name. It's Akash, or for more simply for you, you can call me Sky.
All right, Sky.
Yeah, that is much more better, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So tell me a little bit more about you as a person. What kind of a person are you?
Well, I'm basically a older American. I'm 69 years old.
Okay.
And worked all my life and pretty much.
Okay. And
that's
what
family.
Yeah. And what did you do before you got into writing?
I worked for the Department of Natural Resources in the state of Georgia.
Oh wow! So what kind of work did you did for the Department of Natural Sciences?
Well, we checked fishermen, checked fish, kept the population studies going, and determined if new regulations were needed.
Mm-hmm. And how did you determine that? Did you went and checked the population of the fishes or something like that?
I did, Akash. That's one of the main things that we did do. We would do surveys, netting surveys and shocking surveys to check the populations of the fish.
Mm-hmm. And how does it help? If we talk about in a larger aspect, because you have been working closer to the nature, so how does the fish population affect the nature?
It just makes new regulations to as far as fishing amounts that people can take and seasons and things of that nature.
Okay.
It gives us an idea on how to make those.
Oh, okay. And then it's a drastic change that you were something into different thing, and then you all of a sudden switch into writing novels, and that too in adventure, and fantasy. So how did that thing happen?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat?
Yeah, I'm saying that you were doing, this kind of it's more of a clerical work that you were doing most of your life, and then you switched into getting into writing, and then especially into adventure and fantasy. So how did that switch happen?
Oh, well, yeah, it was mostly clerical work, but I was diagnosed in early 2010 with an aneurysm.
Okay.
And my writing career started basically with telling a story for my family. Wasn't even intended to be published, and everyone said it was very good and I should write for a living. So that's pretty much what started my writing career.
But you got into adventure writing. So how did that thing happen?
That's basically what I've always read is the adventure, science fiction, fantasy, and I just like that genre.
Okay. And like, is there any specific, thing that you like about adventures and something like that?
It transports me, allows me to live the adventure with the characters.
Mm. And can you tell me more about the new novel that you have just come out with?
The Portal and the Promise. It's basically
Yeah.
about Joe, a soldier who comes home on leave and some type of time warp and goes to another world
Mm-hmm.
where he
And
meets a female alien, and together the two of them fight all the pearls and the creatures on that world, trying to find their way back home.
mm, nice, nice. And like, where did you get the inspiration for this book of yours?
Basically, it was a what if. Was a disappearance, and there is a place called Track Rock Gap, and I just sat down and started the story, and one word followed the next.
Mm, nice, nice. And like, have you been following these kind of like, missing people thing kind happening?
Just something that I had known about all my life, and that was the first thing that came up when I started writing.
Mm. And like, so have you ever been encountered with an alien?
I've I've encountered a creature that I didn't know what was, but whether it was an alien or not, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So, but yeah, tell us more about the whole series of the books that you written, and like it's more about it's like a series. It's going like a series. So, what is that common thread that binds all of these books together?
Well, in the most common thread has been what if, things that could have happened in this day and time and transferred to different people in a different world.
Mm.
That's the most common thread.
Mm-hmm. And like, are you a fan of adventure movies like Marvel or anything like that?
Yes, love them.
Which is one of your favorites?
Well, I don't rightly know. I mean, I watch them probably Iron Man series.
Okay, so Tony Stark is your favorite superhero.
Yes, sir. Pretty much, he's an
Uh,
human that uses technology to make himself a superhuman.
Indeed, indeed. So, as a writer, I know that you might have faced writer's block sometimes. So, how do you get over with that thing?
Honestly, I've never faced writer's block. I have a focus stone, and when I pick it up and focus on it, the words just start flowing onto the paper.
Mm. I think more people need to get that focus stone from you,
Yeah,
especially
but
more
I
writers.
wouldn't get rid of my focus stone. It's special.
It's special. Maybe somebody want to borrow it from you. Can they do that?
No, sir. I found this when I was 6 years old.
Oh
I
wow!
found this.
So tell me the story. How did you find the stone?
I was cutting cane, which is a sugar cane. And when I
Mm-hmm.
was a kid, I was cutting the heads off, and I saw a shiny spot on the ground and dug it up, and it was a crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And that I've had it all my life.
And that is like your lucky charm, isn't it?
It is.
Nice, nice. And like we were talking about, adventure movies and adventure movie books. So, given a chance, like if you are given a chance to write maybe a superhero comic or a novel, so what kind of a superhero would you like to churn up?
I would have to say that it would be my character in the new book, The Portal Promise. That would be
Hmm.
Joe as a
Okay.
superhero.
And what kind of a superhero would he be?
He is a berserker.
Oh, okay. So he'll go gun blazing into everything.
Yes, sir.
Nice. I really like that thing. And tell us more about your book, the recent book. Can you explain a little bit of timeline and a little bit of insight of the book?
Well, like I said, it's about Joe, a soldier from World War II, who comes home and gets trapped in a time portal or some type of portal and goes to another world. He gets when he gets there, he meets an alien female, and both of them together fight all the perils of that world. I mean, there are some really different creatures on this world, and while they try to find their way back home.
Nice. And what about some? Are you working on another book right now?
I am. I'm working on.
Can you tell us?
Well, I don't think my readers. My book is not about things like werewolves, lycans, or vampires, which is basically today's trend of books. It's a different kind of fiction. I mean, when you read it, you can see a whole new kind of imagination in the storyline.
So how do you get your imagination? Like, what is the inspiration for this imagination of yours?
I don't know. When I pick up that focus stone, that's where it goes, and basically from my family.
Okay, so like you get inspiration from your family?
Yes, sir.
How like more people the people in your family are more adventurous?
Well, all of them likes to be adventurous. I've had to calm them down every now and then. I said I have had to calm my family down on their adventures sometimes to keep them from getting hurt.
So that's how like you are writing novels and like taking their flight for them, right?
Correct. This is true.
You got into fishing, and I've been told that you are a fishing champion.
Well, basically in this neck of the woods, I'm a fishing champion. I love fishing, bass fishing, and
bass fishing.
Usually fish a tournament every week. Used to, when I was younger, I would fish 4 or 5 tournaments a week.
Okay.
But I guess it's something I'm just really good at.
And so how do you do the bass fishing?
Well, you go out on the lake, you pay your entry fee, and it's competition against other fishermen.
So is it like more of a special thing, or it's more like of a regular competition for folks down there?
It's regular competition for anyone who wants to enter.
Nice. And like, which is the biggest fish you have caught till now?
Largemouth bass, 13 pounds, 7 ounces.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is a big one. You very seldom catch any of that size anymore.
Oh, and why do you think that is?
Fishing pressure, and mostly because people keep the fish and eat them rather than letting them grow up.
And how does that make you feel as a person who has been, watching over fishes most of his life?
Well, it makes me feel sad. I want my children to be able to enjoy it, and I want my grandchildren to be able to enjoy the fishing. But if things keep going, then that won't happen. That's the reason for new regulations.
And like with this whole global warming thing happening, and then with the pandemic also happening, so what do you think? What is the future for fishing, especially in that part of the country?
I believe it'll be good all during my lifetime and my children's lifetime, but it'll be according to how well people take care of it, whether it lasts. I don't know if the pandemic is going to affect it. Basically, it will affect the number of people that are out in a group like I go into.
Yeah, right. So like people are avoiding going in groups.
Yes, sir.
You are a collector of gems and stones also, right?
I do. Ever since I was a kid and found that first crystal when I was 6 years old, that made me a rock hound.
So like what do you look for? Do you like go on excavations to find these rocks, or where do you find them lying around your house or wherever you live?
I do. I find most of them on the surface of the ground. I don't don't do any digging because basically what I hunt for is Native American artifacts. And
Oh,
in my mind, digging artifacts is wrong.
and why is that?
Well, basically, a lot of times you're digging into graves, and I would not want anyone digging into my ancestors' graves.
Absolutely, that's very true. Are you fond of the Red Indian culture?
Yes, I am. I have Red Indian in my blood.
How come?
My great grandmother was a full-blooded Cherokee.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So what is the things that you love about their culture?
Well, they were the first Americans. This was their country until it was taken away.
True. You've written 4 series. So which one is your favorite character? Apart from Joe.
Well, right. Apart from Joe, I would say it would be Mother,
Okay.
Joe's partner.
And what makes her such a favorite character of yours?
She's an alien, and basically she's a badass
Oh, badass in how? In what sense?
in battle.
In battle.
If she were against humans, she could probably take on 20 humans without any problem.
Oh, that makes her a pretty strong woman.
Yes, it does.
Do you think men will like such a strong female character?
I do.
Because nowadays I feel like men don't like like a strong female character. They get intimidated by them.
Well, most men, I don't get intimidated by them. Basically, what I want is a partner, not a slave.
Correct. That's true. That's true. And like talking about the pandemic and all, and how do you think the culture of writing, how would it evolve? Like, do you think more and more people will get into writing, or more and more people will get into reading?
Both, I believe, as they have to stay apart, they will become more isolated in their minds and in their imaginations. But as far as the pandemic is concerned, it really hasn't done anything to stop me from writing. I mean, I'm at home, I'm writing every day, and basically having fun.
Having fun. So writing is like your kind of a thing to release the pressure, right?
Correct. It's kind of like habit forming. It's kind of like kids in this day and time being hooked on these video games. I'm hooked on writing.
Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes, I do. I have 4.
You have 4 grandchildren. Do they like what you write for them?
As far as I know, they do. They say they do.
Have you ever taken their honest opinion about the thing?
Yes, I have asked, and every one of them have said that they enjoy it, would like to be one of the characters.
So, like, can you tell me, like, which is one of the favorite characters of your grandchildren?
That would be Joe.
I think everybody loves Joe.
Yep. Around here, they do.
Okay, and like, I was going through the some of your introduction, and you consider yourself as a hillbilly. So, can you tell everybody what exactly is a hillbilly?
Well, that's basically just someone who is strictly country, born in the mountains of North Georgia, not a city slicker, in other words.
Okay. Nice, nice. So you've always been a person who has been close to the nature.
Always, my entire life. I have. We had to use nature to live. That's where we got our sustenance and basically everything we needed.
And like over the years, you might have seen things changed. And so, what is the biggest difference that you find in like living in the country way back when you were a 6-year-old kid, when you find that rock while cutting sugarcane, and now?
The biggest change is people's attitudes towards everything. They're they're selfish. They're not. When I was growing up, you didn't even lock your doors, and everybody was honest. Nowadays, that's not the case.
Why do you think that has happened? Like over the period of time, why do you think people have changed?
Overpopulation, I believe. Just too many people and not enough resources.
That's
so they
true.
go for they try to get the resources in any way they can, and if that includes lying or being dishonest, then that's what they'll do.
And what is the best thing that you miss about your childhood?
My mother, she was my inspiration for everything. She one time told me that there is nothing between heaven and earth that can't be imagined by a human mind.
And that is where you get your inspiration for writing all these amazing novels, right?
I hope so. To the best of my ability to know that's where it come from.
And apart from other, do you still have your old friends around, or like are they all gone?
Most of them are gone. There are still a few around. Well, not close, but yeah, they're still around.
So you guys kind of catch up, meet up with each other like on a Saturday?
Very seldom do we meet. Most of them live hundreds of miles away, but we stay in touch on Facebook.
Okay. And like, how do you see the technology of now? Like, I bet in your days, you might be having letters or a phone call just to connect with somebody. Now it's just a click away. So, how is that? Are you a tech savvy person?
I am not tech savvy. Matter of fact, I just joined Facebook a couple of months ago, but it's a very useful tool, a very good tool. But a lot of people use it for the wrong thing.
Like what?
Well, like giving their opinions of this and that, and scams and bullying people and anything and everything of that nature. Being mean and being bad.
But don't you think people were mean and bad back in the day also, and like now it has just become like something on the internet?
Well, they were bad people back in that day, but they weren't. They couldn't influence so many people as they can now.
And tell me, like, with the virus around, so have you picked up anything, a new skill apart from writing, apart from fishing?
No, not really. I mean, it's basically my skill is writing and fishing and being a good father.
And are you excelling in all three departments?
I hope so. Trying to anyway.
I just want you to tell me, maybe one of your favorite scenes from any of your books.
The most favorite is probably when Joe and Mother fight the giant bear. This bear is probably running in the neighborhood of 15 tons in size. The battle almost kills him.
Oh. Okay. So how did you thought about that thing, about this whole situation?
Like I said, I don't really know. When I start writing, I don't have a clue what I'm writing. It just flows out of the pen, and I have to read it afterwards to get what's going on. I don't even remember. I don't know what I'm writing. I just use the focus stone and put the first word down, and the rest of them follow until I get finished writing, and then read what I've written. I don't have a clue. And right now I'm finishing up the last edit of the 4th book, and soon to start on the 5th.
Oh, nice. That's absolutely nice. And in the end, would you like to share some knowledge with your writing knowledge or knowledge from your life with my listeners and with your readers?
Well, the best thing would be everyone has a story, and everyone's story is themselves. They should. They are in control of the pen, basically.
Oh, so you mean to say that they are the writers of their own destiny?
This is true. But anyway, I think my readers, most of them going after a certain trend of vampires and wolves and lycans, werewolves. my book is different kind of fiction. When you read it, you can see a whole new kind of imagination in the storyline. I think they'll like it.
I bet they would. Well. On that note, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and talking to me, and sharing an insight about you, about your style of writing, and about everything else.
Well, thank you, Akash. It was nice to meet you, even if it was over the phone.
Same here, sir.
You have a good day.
You too. So I hope कि आपको ये episode of the Unnamed Podcast पसंद आया, and in case you are enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe and follow this podcast wherever you are getting your podcast. And in case अगर आप मुझसे in touch होना चाहते हैं, मतलब अभी तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा touch ही नहीं हो सकते But yeah, if you want to get in touch, don't forget that the email ID is evilmonkeyden@gmail.com, and I will see you next time with a brand new episode and a brand new guest. Till then, you guys stay cool, stay tight, and live life human size.